Gracias.
It's so interesting when normal screenings, there tends to be a gathering towards the back of the room, and they know you're here, so there's a gathering towards the front of the room. I'd love to know a little bit about, your familiarity with Cassandro growing up. Did you follow wrestling, and did you know of Cassandro?
Well, yes, I followed Lucha Libre because exactly when I was a kid. I guess I was like 8 or something. There was a revamping of Lucha Libre in Mexico. It started to get televised again, and the new fresh air of luchadores came in, like Atlantis, Octagon, Rayo de Jalisco, no, mis máscaras de antes. No, they were before. El Perro Aguayo, all those guys, and La Parca,
El vampiro canadiense.
Eso. El vampiro canadiense, que no era canadiense. Yeah, so all of them, and I started to and I was enjoying the Conan, I was loving watching them, and there were these exoticos that I remembered well because they were a little bit before Cassandro, like Pimpinela or Rudy Reina, and then Cassandro came a little bit afterwards. But when Roger came up to me to do this film, I remembered the idea. I was like, yes, I think I remember Cassandro. And then obviously the internet now tells you everything, and everything came back. I was like, of course, Cassandro, yes. But Lucha Libre was I did not only follow it, but also I played Lucha Libre with my friends. We did we played I don't know how you can call it. Like we played Lucha Libre. We did like. Each of us, we came up with a character, sometimes we were characters that existed, but sometimes we made up our characters as well, and we made up moves, and we would use our bedrooms as huge rings, and stadiums, we would jump from, and our parents get very upset.
I did something similar because American wrestling had a revival during that time too, but we didn't have exoticos. It's interesting sort of to learn about that aspect of things. It's not the first time I've heard about it, but still it's a distinct to Mexican wrestling culture, it seems, or at least distinct from what American wrestling is like.
Yes, there's like two main divisions in a way of wrestlers, which is the rudos and técnicos, and from there they strand a few other, also small people, also the exóticos, also women as well. But those are the two main strands, no? Like rudos y técnicos. That's like the thing. And rudo means like rough, and técnico technician, no?
Yeah,
so it's like it's the rough against the technicians, But that's the nice thing about this is that. In Lucha Libre, most of the most famous wrestlers actually, when they started to do their characters, they didn't get it at the first time. For example, El Santo didn't get El Santo at the beginning. It was like he played like 3 other characters, and nothing was kind of shaping. Nothing was kind of you have to try it in order to find the character. It's it's like theater in a way, sure. and like film in many ways. So I mean, just to tell you like how natural it was as well for us to go into the world of Lucha Libre, because we worked with a great organization called La AAA, which is one of the biggest organizations of Lucha Libre in the world, and they were very kind, and they knew what we were doing, because it is a very highly skilled sport, very, very hard, very tough, incredibly, you have to be a strong athlete in order to be able to do it, very committed. But at the same time, you have to perform. You have to give a good show, a good spectacle. No, so they knew what we were doing. We were like, we want to do a movie about this. Like, yeah, we do that every Sunday.
Well, it's one thing. It's a challenge to portray somebody who's famous. It's another thing to portray somebody who's famous who's alive, and then it's another thing to portray somebody who's famous alive who does something for a living that's so televised and watched and scrutinized. So I feel like the stakes are a bit high to kind of get it right, but also to make it your own. So I'm curious about how you approached that in terms of making sure that this was a character that came through you rather than a strict imitation.
Well, yeah, obviously, there's been, Cassandro has made sure that nobody can be like him because he's done many documentaries.
Yes.
He's been, so it's already, I mean, if you want to see the real Saúl doing Cassandro, his own Cassandro, there are these documentaries that are actually really good. And what we did was like a more an interpretation of Saúl's life with an amalgam of other, other experiences and kind of also, let's say, extrapolated a little bit his journey and made, put in different new elements as well that were not in his life. In order to create a new thing, but also honoring the nature of what Cassandro does, which is Saúl creates a character in order to find himself, creates Cassandro in order to place another person or place another person that he's not, in order to find, his father in a way, or but not so directly, of course. It was very, it's more systematic, this thing. It's not linear, it's a consequence. But that's ultimately also what we do as actors, we play other people, or not, and when we go and see films and when we go see theater, we know that these are not the real people that are doing these characters, and we go to see that because in the representation something comes up of the real person that's doing that, that is quite fascinating and is quite incredible, and the person, the performer that is doing that doesn't realize what's happening. It's you lose control as an actor also. It's great to lose control, and it's perhaps one of the only jobs where you have to lose control, right?
Which is your
control in a way, like stuff that you don't create an accident, or you're not ready for the accident to happen. It is about listening, no? It is about sometimes they press a lot this thing of like, it has to be present. You have to be, it's about being in the present tense. It's impossible to be in the present tense like as such. It's we're existentialist beings. We're always thinking about what comes after next. We're always like, so it's more about listening, I guess. It's more about trusting the fact that the present exists no matter what. There's no escape from it. So it's basically that type of. I mean, I can go on forever on this, but it's nice to. I think the most sublime experience I'd say that when this happens is when you get to this point and you realize like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's happening. I lost control. I have no idea what I'm doing at this point. Why my character is doing this, and you have a great director, that can help you kind of like tell you, hey, just trust that feeling, and keep going. They doesn't have to give explanations because something is happening that you're unaware of as well, no? Sure. And that's when that happens, it's like, okay, yeah. It happens to me a lot with Pablo Larraín, with his director that I've worked with 3 times, and every time we work together, there's even a moment where I really don't know what the story is about. I think he doesn't know also, but he kind of like, he's a good director, that is such a good director that he tells you that he doesn't know, and he tells you, let's find it. Let's try this, and then let's try this, and then so you're like, it's the best. But yeah.
Well, I feel like some directors do a great job of interpreting a script, and then there are other directors who the script is there, it's a foundation, but then anything can kind of happen on set.
Yeah, in the worst case, let's shoot the script.
When I think when he's in his right, but I feel like in his case, it seems like there's something more alive on set.
You would arrive and you would do 100 falls, like just from here, like that, to the mat, and like full on, and it has to make a good sound, you know, and you know, 100, not even 5 last year. Really, it's like it's no, not even 2. Like it hurts so much, you know. But you have to learn how to do that, because those are the foundations and those are the basics of everything. But also as well, I took some lessons, which I normally do, with this great choreographer in Mexico, who's a good friend, and because I needed to get some. I always like to internalize something physically with the characters. No, whenever I have the possibilities and whenever I have the time and I organize myself properly, this happens. And in this case, I needed to, you know, do all the physical training for the lucha libre, as well as getting some, in the queer slang we would call it like a pluma, you know, to get some pluma, with a pluma feather, to get the feather out, no? And so in these choreographies, it was like I rehearsed more or less the entries of Cassandro, you know, the game of the cape and the things, and those kind of things, you know. You have to learn how to do that. You know?
And that one of being, because I feel like it's interesting to hear that there needs to be something physical that gets you into, because I feel like you're such a physical actor. I feel like so few actors that I can think of come close to how fully embodied you are in your portrayals. So you must have been attracted to this for that reason. That
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, I think it's something that I've always been, attracted to, but also I think, I don't know, I would have if parkour would have existed when I was young, I think I would have been a parkour. You know, like I always like doing those kind of things of like, let's see how far, how quick we can go from here to there, you know, and jump over everything, and so yes, in a way it's like one of those things of like, I can do that, you know, I can play with that and I can have fun as well, and enjoy it. But it's so useful to get into a role through the body. I mean, it is like the best. For me, it's the best way to feel I have a little bit of a sense of ownership, you know, of what I'm doing. Then I can let myself go, you know.